This police officer has been convicted of murdering a suicidal man. Convicted of murdering a suicidal man. Huntsville police continue to pay an officer convicted of murder. Do you hear me? Continue to pay a cop who was convicted of murder, an officer awaiting sentencing for fatally shooting a man who was threatening suicide. So his name is Officer William Ben Darby. Let's put his picture up. William Ben Darby is out on bond, is still employed by the Huntsville police, though he is not on active duty. Now this is a little complex, so here's your background. Records show that Darby has been on sick leave since a jury found him guilty 2 months ago. He is off work under the Family and Medical Leave Act, a federal law requiring employers to allow workers unpaid extended time off for medical or family emergencies. The man has been convicted of murder, and he is still getting paid. Now, how are they pulling this off? The police department employees received an email. Now check this out. Asking them to donate leave time to an unnamed employee with an undisclosed medical condition. So I guess being convicted of murder is an undisclosed medical condition for white people. Because I've never heard of this disease before, ever. When a copy of the email was reviewed, it was sent from, guess who? The chief of police, Chief Mark McMurray's email account on May 20th. Less than 2 weeks after Darby's conviction. So he gets convicted, follow the line with me, everyone. He gets convicted of murder. After he's convicted of murder, an email goes out from the chief, from his email account that says, hey, we need you employees to donate some of your hours because of a bad situation that happened to somebody, and we're not gonna tell you who it is. It's a medical thing, okay? When asked whether Darby is the unnamed employee, McMurray said he did not know the person's identity. Hold the hell up. You're the chief, you approved the sick time, vacation time, the medical leave time, and your response is, oh, I don't know the person's identity. It gets deeper. The email was sent the same day the city announced to the public that Darby was on leave. There's more. The federal law could prevent the city from pursuing a hearing to terminate his employment while he is on FMLA. So this federal law is so strong that it might stop them from being able to really just stop his employment, even though he has been convicted of murder. You have to provide that context every time. On May 7th, a Madison County jury found Darby guilty of murder for shooting and killing Jeff Parker 3 years ago. The shooting happened when Parker called police and reported that he was armed and suicidal. Darby testified that he shot Parker in defense of himself and other officers because he feared Parker might shoot them, what later turned out to be a flare gun. The body camera video showed Darby grab a shotgun from his patrol car and sprint to the house. Darby testified that he had to take over the situation from a senior officer because he believed she was putting herself in danger by talking to Parker. Darby fired the fatal shot 11 seconds after entering the house. That's according to the video. So the police officers who were there, they knew it was not a deadly situation. They did not commit murder. He came in literally guns blazing, commits murder. This person is already suicidal. The other officers are trying to de-escalate. He commits murder. He gets convicted of committing murder. And this piece of is still employed by that police department. But they don't want to give Officer Friendly a promotion. Come on now. Woz, your thoughts?
It's not a lot to add to that. That's plain as day. It tells you what type of culture we have in the policing system here in America. And I think, I think there are gonna be people who will watch your segment and say, well, hold on, Dr. Richey, one happened in Syracuse, New York. Another happened in Huntsville, Alabama. These are two completely different police department situations, et cetera, et cetera. And I would say to them, that's not true. We see officer-involved police shootings of unarmed people, black men obviously at disproportionate rates, but people generally all over the country. It don't matter if it's Minnesota, don't matter if it's Los Angeles, don't matter if it's New York, don't matter if it's Alabama, Mississippi, South Carolina, it happens. We see that officers are rarely convicted, no matter where you are in the country. We see that officers rarely ever testify against other officers and step up and say the terrible things that their fellow officers are doing, no matter where you are in the country. So I say all that to say this is one police culture. There's one way to police. When you walk into a house and you shoot a freaking guy who needs help because he's suffering from mental health issues, you're doing the job. We're gonna hold you down. We got your back. When you're in the community and you're trying to ingratiate yourself with the people that you're basically policing, no. We don't like that. You're acting outside of the bounds of what has been accepted police practice. Shooting a freaking guy, killing him, is within the bounds. We're gonna do what we have to do to make sure you get paid, your family's taken care of as long as we can, as you've been convicted of a crime. But being a nice cop, that's out of line. That's out of line, Doc. Can't do that. We can't have it.
Yeah. It is fascinating that they're able to get away with this. You literally have a police officer convicted of murder. The justice system actually worked. He was held accountable for the murder that took place. And then you have something happening that is extrajudicial, outside of that judicial chamber known as his employment. And even though he is employed by the city of Huntsville, he is getting paid through tax dollars. This guy is convicted of murder. Now, you can't even hold a job at a fast food restaurant being convicted of murder. But you can hold a job as a police officer. You can be on leave and still obtain a check. You mean to tell me that the good taxpayers of Huntsville, they have to foot the bill for an actual convicted murderer inside of the police department?
I mean, Doc, I'll take it one step further. You sell some weed, you get convicted of an F, you come back, people have a right to not hire you. We have, as a society, we withhold your right to freaking vote. This guy gets convicted of murdering somebody, and the cops are like, no, let's pay him. Let's give him money.
Yeah, and at the center of this is obviously the police chief, who is claiming he doesn't really know who's receiving the money. Damn it, I know who's receiving the money. That police officer is receiving the money, who should literally be locked away for a very long time. Justice, even when the wheels of justice turn in the right direction, this is why people get so irritated about stories like this and situations, scenarios like this, because the wheels of justice actually turned the right way. You know how difficult that was? You just named it, Woz. It's damn near impossible to get these convictions of police officers in the United States of America. You actually land a conviction. You don't land a manslaughter conviction. You don't land a negligent homicide conviction. You land a murder conviction. You literally land a murder conviction by a police officer in the line of duty, which is damn near virtually impossible. It doesn't really happen much. And then the agency of policing, the culture of policing, they step up, and by their design, they decide to have the criminals back rather than have the taxpayers back, as they do typically.